Have you ever wondered why certain people stick in your mind like glue? You try to move on with life, you meet new friends and try new things, but they keep coming back into your thoughts, like a ghost that won't go away. They show up in quiet moments when you least expect them to appear. This isn't just random thoughts happening. Your mind is trying to tell you something important about yourself that you missed. The human brain isn't just a computer. It doesn't just throw away old memories. It holds on to things that still matter, things that made you feel something strong, things that are still unfinished inside you, things your heart hasn't let go of yet. If someone keeps appearing in your thoughts, there might be a hidden connection there, something your mind is still working on. Think of your mind like an iceberg. Most of it is hidden underwater. The part you can't see is huge. We're all connected in ways we don't know, by shared feelings and experiences we've had, by stories that touch our hearts deeply. Some people enter our lives and leave marks, deep marks on the hidden part of us. Their memory becomes more than just memory. It becomes a message trying to reach you, a signal from the deeper part of your mind, telling you to pay attention to something. Sometimes these thoughts come from feelings that you never fully dealt with before. It could be love that never got expressed. It could be regret about things you said. It could be admiration you never shared. It could be anger you never released. But whatever the feeling might be, the fact that this person stays in mind means your heart is holding on to them. Your mind doesn't replay meaningless things. It focuses on what carries real weight, on things that need to be understood. Then there's something called unfinished energy. When relationships end without real closure, they leave an invisible mark behind. The deeper part of your mind works differently. It doesn't care if months have passed. It doesn't care if years have gone by. If something was left unfinished inside you, it stays active beneath the surface, quietly affecting your thoughts and feelings. Have you ever heard an old song that instantly took you back in time, back to a moment with someone special? That's because your mind stores memories in bundles tied together with feelings. One small trigger can bring it all back. If someone stays in your thoughts, it might be because the emotional thread connecting you to them was never cut. But it goes even deeper than that. Some people stay in our minds not because of who they really are, but because of what they represent to us. Your deeper mind speaks in symbols. It connects people with bigger meanings. Sometimes the person you can't stop thinking about isn't just an individual person to you. They become a symbol of something bigger. Maybe they represent a deep longing inside you. Maybe they show you pain you haven't healed. Maybe they're a missing piece of your story. Your mind holds on to these important figures because they're connected to your growth. Until you understand their role in your life, they will keep coming back to your thoughts. The real question is this: what is your mind trying to tell you? Now let's go deeper into this mystery. What if the way you see this person is actually showing you something about yourself? Have you ever felt strongly attracted to someone without knowing exactly why? Or felt annoyed by someone for no clear reason? Maybe you put someone on a pedestal thinking they were perfect and amazing, only to feel let down when they showed flaws. Or maybe you met someone who bothered you for reasons you couldn't quite explain. They triggered feelings that seemed too big. These strong reactions often aren't really about the other person at all. They're actually about you and your mind. They're reflections of hidden parts of yourself that you haven't fully recognized yet. Like looking in a mirror you didn't know existed. This is called psychological projection. It's when you unconsciously put your own traits onto other people without realizing it. Your mind has two main parts: the part you're aware of every day and the hidden part you don't see. The hidden part contains everything you've pushed away, denied, or ignored. all the parts of yourself you haven't accepted. When you meet someone who strongly occupies your thoughts, it's often because they mirror something in you that you haven't fully recognized yet. This could be a fear you haven't faced. It could be a desire you've kept hidden. It could be a quality you refuse to see. For example, if you constantly think about someone who seems confident and charismatic, it may be because deep down inside you wish you could develop those same traits. Your mind is showing you what you want to become, what you're secretly longing to express. On the other hand, if you feel an unexplained dislike for someone, it could be because they reflect a part of yourself that you struggle to accept. The more you refuse to see certain parts of yourself, the more power they have over your thoughts. There's a hidden side to every person's personality, the emotions, desires, and impulses that society taught us to hide away. We like to think we know ourselves completely, but the truth is a large part of who we are operates beneath the surface of our awareness. When we meet someone who deeply affects our mind, they may be awakening a part of this hidden self. This is why certain people seem to haunt our thoughts. They represent something we need to understand, something we're trying to process without knowing it, something that wants to become part of us. Your mind doesn't focus on random people. It focuses on those who serve as mirrors. Whether you recognize it or not, they're showing you yourself. The real reason someone is constantly on your mind might not be about them at all. It might be about a part of yourself that is waiting to be discovered, that is ready to be understood, that wants to be accepted and loved. But projection doesn't just affect individuals. It can shape how you see the entire world. The way you view others is filtered through the lens of your own inner struggles. If you carry deep insecurities inside, you may assume others are judging you harshly. If you struggle with feeling worthy, you may believe others are better than you. If you have unhealed wounds from the past, you may project them onto new relationships. You end up reliving old painful patterns without even realizing what you're doing. Understanding projection is really important because it helps you take back the parts of yourself that you've unknowingly given away to others. The people you obsess over, admire, or resent are often holding up a mirror to something important within you. The key is to stop looking outward for answers and start looking inward for the truth. The answers you seek are already inside you. So what happens when these projections are tied to deep emotional bonds? When the attachment goes beyond just psychology and becomes something that touches your heart? Some people don't just pass through our lives, they leave a mark so deep and lasting that it feels impossible to forget them, even after time has passed by, even after you've told yourself you've moved on. Their presence lingers in your mind like an unfinished sentence, like a story that never got its ending. Why does this happen to us? Why do some emotional bonds feel unbreakable, even when we try our hardest to let go? The truth is, emotional connections aren't just feelings. They become wired into our brains. They shape how we think and feel. When an emotional bond is left hanging, it continues to quietly influence your mind. It's like part of your heart is still connected to that other person somehow. Your mind keeps replaying old memories, searching for closure that never came. Scientists have discovered something amazing. When we form deep emotional connections, our brain actually creates special pathways. These pathways link that person to feelings of love, safety, or even pain. They become part of our brain's wiring. These brain connections don't just disappear when a relationship ends or changes. They stay active, waiting to be triggered. A familiar smell can bring them back. A song on the radio can wake them up. Even a random memory can light them up. This is why certain people stay in our minds. Our brain has physically connected them to our emotional landscape inside. The stronger the bond was originally, the stronger these brain connections become, making it harder to turn off thoughts about them. If an emotional experience never got resolved, whether from heartbreak, regret, or unfinished business, it can become a loop in your mind, playing itself over and over again, trying to find the resolution it never got, searching for the ending to the story. Your mind keeps going back to the past, not because you're living in nostalgia, but because it's searching for something important. An answer that was never given. An understanding that never came. A sense of peace that was never found. But emotional bonds aren't just about brain science. They live in the deeper parts of our hearts, where unprocessed feelings go to hide. When we refuse to face certain emotions, they don't just disappear into thin air. They become like invisible weight we carry. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to haunt you even when they're gone? This happens because part of you is still emotionally connected to them. Your heart is still holding on to something that feels unfinished and important. Sometimes we hold on because of what that person meant to us, not just who they were as a person. Maybe they showed you a lost dream, maybe they revealed who you could become, maybe they carried hopes you never reached. The attachment isn't really about them, it's about what they mean in your own life story. So how do you break free from these emotional bonds? How do you find inner peace? First, understand that your thoughts about someone are usually not about that person at all. They're about something deeper in you. What feelings haven't been processed? What lessons haven't been learned? What part of you stays connected to that old relationship? What piece needs healing? Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means accepting what happened and finding peace with it. It means letting yourself feel everything, understand it, and accept it. So it stops controlling you. When you do this work, your mind stops obsessing. The lesson gets learned. But sometimes when you're moving on, life sends you strange signs. Weird coincidences that feel important. What if these aren't accidents? Sometimes everything lines up perfectly. Like life is pointing you somewhere. These events seem random, but they feel meaningful. They carry special weight. This is called synchronicity. When meaningful coincidences happen beyond normal, everyday events, it feels like something important is happening right now, even when you can't explain it. When you keep seeing reminders of someone you're thinking about, or when things line up perfectly, your deeper mind might be saying a connection still exists. Something is still there. These coincidences happen most during emotional times, when feelings are strong. Life seems to respond. It offers clues and hints. It shows you hidden connections. These experiences aren't random. They reveal deeper patterns in what looks like chaos. The people in your thoughts aren't there by accident. They mean something important. They represent something big in your growth journey. Every person and feeling matters, even when it's not clear in this moment. Even when you can't see why, when these signs appear, pay attention to them. Notice the deeper patterns. The signs might not make sense to your logical mind, but they feel emotionally important. They show connections between your inner world and your outer reality. Maybe the person you keep thinking about isn't just from your past. They represent something in you that wants to be seen, something ready for healing, something asking to be understood. The connection between you has meaning and purpose. These mysterious links invite you to look deeper inside, to trust there's a reason for these persistent thoughts. Sometimes the people who stay in our thoughts aren't just individuals anymore. They become something much larger. They take on symbolic meaning in the deeper parts of our hearts. They become universal figures that represent different parts of who we are and who we're becoming. They're no longer just people. They become representations of qualities, desires, or unresolved parts of ourselves. They turn into archetypal figures. These are primal images that shape how we see ourselves and others. They serve as blueprints for understanding different parts of the human experience. When someone occupies your thoughts persistently, They may be playing an archetypal role. Take the figure of the wise mentor, the guide who helps you navigate challenges and helps you grow in unexpected ways. Maybe someone in your life took on that role. Their presence in your thoughts is more about the wisdom they shared with you rather than their individual personality. They represent the teacher within you, the part that wants to learn and grow. Or maybe it's the figure of the lover, representing not just romantic feelings, but a desire for deep connection, for vulnerability and authentic expression. This person, while real and important, may represent a part of your heart that is seeking love and acceptance. That wants to be seen and understood. That's ready to open up completely. When people become archetypal figures in your unconscious mind, they stop being just regular people. They become vessels of personal transformation. They represent different roles that you're learning to play in your own life story. They become mirrors reflecting back aspects of your own growth. The person who constantly occupies your thoughts might be acting as a mirror, showing you a role you're trying to understand. They may represent an aspect of growth or a quality you're learning to bring into your own life. Whether they appear as the warrior challenging you to be stronger, or the victim triggering feelings of powerlessness, or the shadow confronting your darker self, they're all trying to teach you something about who you are becoming. But what happens when a real person becomes frozen in an archetypal role? When we idealize someone so much that they no longer feel human but become purely symbolic. This is where problems can start. When we lose sight of their individuality and project expectations onto them, we stop seeing them as complete people. This projection often leads to disappointment. The person can never live up to the perfect version we created. However, the real lesson lies in recognizing this pattern and learning to embrace complexity, both in others and in ourselves. Instead of relying on simple, one-dimensional images of people, the people who stay in our thoughts play a crucial role in shaping our inner world and understanding. When you recognize that someone has become archetypal in your mind, you gain the power to transform your relationship with them and with the parts of yourself that they represent in your heart. The question becomes, what is it about this person that's calling you to grow into who you're meant to be? When someone constantly occupies your thoughts, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, like your mind is trapped in a prison. But these persistent thoughts aren't a sign of weakness or unhealthy obsession. They're actually an invitation to explore deeper layers of your own heart and mind, to understand why this person lingers, and to uncover the unresolved emotions that are keeping you connected to them, that are keeping you stuck in the past. The key to freeing your mind begins with honest self-awareness. Take time to really think about why this person has such a prominent place in your thoughts and feelings. What emotions come up when you think of them? Are there unresolved feelings there? Unmet needs that were never addressed? Hidden projections you haven't noticed? Maybe they represent something you haven't fully processed yet. Pain, longing, regret, or even something positive like admiration, or unfulfilled potential inside yourself. Understanding these emotions is the first step. Journaling can help you identify the root of your mental obsession. Meditation can bring clarity to confusion. Deep self-reflection can reveal what's really going on beneath the surface, what your heart is really trying to tell you. Once you understand the real cause, you can begin to consciously release the emotional charge that pulls you back. Another important step is learning to detach emotionally from the situation. This doesn't mean erasing the person or pretending they didn't matter. It means shifting your focus from obsessive thinking to inner peace. Detachment allows you to find balance without being controlled by unresolved emotions that are tied to that person. One powerful method of detachment is practicing mindfulness every day, being present with your thoughts and feelings without judging yourself harshly. Rather than getting lost in stories about this person and what happened, Observe your thoughts as they come up. Let them pass like clouds in the sky. With practice, you can create space between yourself and the emotions that once felt completely overwhelming, that once controlled your entire day. Finally, freeing your mind involves embracing the process of healing. Every experience, even difficult ones, is an opportunity for personal transformation. The work of becoming whole asks you to confront hidden parts of yourself that you've ignored and integrate them into your complete being, to accept all parts of who you are. If someone continues to occupy your thoughts, it may be because they represent an unresolved piece of your inner puzzle. Maybe they show you a quality you wish you could develop. Maybe they reflect a wound you haven't healed. Or maybe they represent a lesson you've yet to fully learn and understand. Instead of fighting these thoughts, allow them to guide you toward deeper self-awareness and emotional clarity. Let them teach you about yourself. Through this process, you can transform what was once a source of pain into a pathway toward personal growth. When you begin to understand the deeper layers of your own mind, you regain the power to choose where to focus your emotional energy, to decide which thoughts deserve attention, to redirect your energy toward growth. The person who once dominated your thoughts may still hold a special place in your heart, but they no longer have the power to control your mind completely. Through self-awareness, healthy detachment, and healing, you can free yourself from obsessive thoughts. You can return to a place of emotional balance and inner peace, where your true self can flourish. As we've explored in this journey, the people who stay in our minds aren't there by accident or chance. They carry important messages and lessons. They reflect deeper parts of ourselves that are asking for our attention. By understanding the unconscious connections, the projections, the emotional bonds, and the archetypal roles at play, we can free ourselves from patterns that hold us back from happiness. We can regain our emotional balance. Remember, growth is always a journey. Every experience, no matter how challenging, is a chance to become more complete, to become the fullest version of who you're meant to be, to find peace within your own heart.